We're resuming our meeting. We were in executive session to discuss litigation. It is 8:19. Okay. I have a few motions that have been added to this evening. If you had picked a copy up at the front there. We have. It's a motion that the Borough Council approve the filing of the preliminary objections in the matter of Eric Hellman versus the Borough of Morrisville, and authorize the Insurance Council to take any other steps necessary in furtherance of the litigation. We also have a motion that the Borough Council authorize the execution of a settlement agreement in the matter of the Borough of Morrisville versus Metro Spa et al. In final form as agreed to by the Borough Solicitor. Have a motion to authorize the solicitor to prepare and advertise an ordinance to amend the Morrisville Borough Code to eliminate the position of controller. Also, this is from our engineer. It would be a motion to award the bid. Let's see, it's not written out. Give me a moment, please. The county has approved Noble Roofing and Sheet Metal Inc. for the base bid of $14.95. This is for the Williamson Park ADA bathroom renovations. So the motion would be to award the bid to Noble Roofing and Sheet Metal for a bid of $14,950. I don't know if we put the project, you know, I put the project in there, right? Okay. And one other motion that even when we were back there, I completely forgot to mention. I'd like to add a motion to approve payment of $400 to the band Sure Shots for services rendered on September 20th at the 13th Annual Musical Festival. What's it for? The band, one of the bands that played yesterday at the music festival. So it's 5 new motions. So now that the public has heard all the motions, we have the hearing of the public. First this evening we have George Mershon.
George Mershon, Borough property owner. I'm going to ask again about the fair share trash extortion fee and what action is being taken, if anything. It's come to my attention that not all property owners are paying this that have dumpsters, so I don't know quite why that is. And also, I don't know why the borough's even involved with trash. Why don't they let it go private in the borough and be done with it? You said last time there's other reasons why the borough's involved. Perhaps, you know, could you tell me a couple of those reasons?
I would have Mr. Bates or Mr. Seward address those reasons, but 2 that I mentioned before, if we have control, meaning the borough and the residents have control, then we know when the trash trucks are coming, and we don't have them here every day of the week at any time. So that's
other municipalities do open trash collection. It seems to work for them.
We've chosen not to. Some do, some don't.
And also, I found that some of the fees that other people are paying aren't consistent with what I'm being charged. I don't quite understand that one either. And then, changing subjects completely, I didn't realize Morrisville had so much money that we could throw away 14 taxable properties with MR Ryder and make it into an open space. It's absurd. Is the borough trying to run this place, everybody out of town? Is that their intention? Because it seems like you're doing a pretty good job. I see these up for sale signs up, and I see up forever that they don't camp zone. So I'm just curious what's going on in this town. I love this town, but it's like it's going down the tubes. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but you know, I don't know what the motive is behind it. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have a Greg Van Tresca.
Good evening. My name is Greg Ventresca with Keystone Construction Advisors, and I'm here on behalf of Elcon, the proposed facility in Falls Township that I understand you may be addressing this evening. And just wanted to bring up a few items that have been, I know there's a lot of misinformation that's been thrown out around about the project. I just wanted to give a few facts about the project and would welcome an opportunity to sit down with members of council or members of Morrisville to discuss further the project and any questions that the municipality may have going forward. So some of the issues that, or the items that I'd like to clear the air on would be the fact, first and foremost, that Elkhorn is not an incinerator. Another one is that no wastewater from the Elkhorn facility will be discharged into the Delaware River. That's part of the application process to DEP, and it's very clear on that. Air emissions from the Elkhorn facility are 99.9% free of contaminants, which will also be documented in the DEP filings. The Elkhorn site is not located in a floodplain, which is also documented in the filings. I know truck traffic has been a concern to residents of Morrisville Borough, and truck traffic will not go through Morrisville Borough. Again, the traffic plan for the site is part of the DEP permitting process, and the documented truck travel routes have no inclusion in Morrisville whatsoever.
How do they get from New Jersey to Morrisville?
Additionally, Elkhorn, as it files through its local, state, county applications, will comply with all needed guidelines and regulations, and are committed to an open and transparent dialogue with all the local communities that would potentially be affected by Elkhorn's facility. So that was all I have to say.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ventrisca, where did you say you were from? You don't work for Elkhorn, correct?
No, we are their U.S. representative for the project. Elkhorn's an Israeli-based company, so their day-to-day is in Israel. So until they're up and operational in the U.S., we're their representative on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so what was Keystone?
Keystone Construction Advisors?
Keystone Construction Advisors.
Correct.
And where are you based out of? Are you based out of New Jersey?
Doylestown.
Because I thought that Elkhorn had an American base in New Jersey. Was I just misinformed about that, or?
They have their U.S. representative that's based out of like their consultant.
Oh, I thought that's what you were.
There's
Are you not their U.S. representative, or?
So there's a consultant that they work with that has been basically their technical advisor. So he's based out of New Jersey.
And I'm sorry, I apologize if
That's okay.
you're talking over my head, but
That's fine.
what exactly do you do?
We're in charge of facilitating the process for them on a day-to-day basis, while the different steps dealing with municipalities, dealing with town watch groups, dealing with the DEP, interfacing with the respective.
So you're almost like a PR company, really?
A liaison for them?
No, we're the U.S. representative, so we're their owner's representative, for lack of better terms.
Well, I'm just confused how the two representatives from New Jersey and how do you work together?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. He's more of a technical advisor, basically.
When you say he, do you mean the person that works out of New Jersey?
Correct.
Okay.
And when I say technical, based upon their process, their technology, things of that nature.
So if we had questions or concerns that had to do with environmental, you necessarily would not really be the person that could answer that?
I could not answer it, but I could facilitate that meeting. There's an environmental engineering group that Elkhorn's working with that's handling all their technical.
So that's another group that they're working with?
Correct.
So they have
there's
people
multiple.
in New Jersey, they have you guys in Doylestown,
Correct.
and they have another, okay.
There's multiple groups. The DEP permit applications has multiple layers to it, multiple steps, so there's.
So they need help to get all these things through
Correct.
to get their message to people, to let them know that the company's safe.
Correct. To get their message out, but also to properly submit an application to the state to potentially get the permits that they need to operate the facility.
So you said that the person that's in New Jersey handles mostly the technological, scientific side of it. Why didn't they build this in New Jersey? Why did they choose to build this in New Jersey? Is there a reason they chose to come over here to Pennsylvania?
They selected the site at KIPC because it's zoned for the type of facility that they're looking to operate.
Do you know if they looked at any places in New Jersey?
I do not.
Okay. And I'm sorry, just one more quick question. Keystone Construction, how long have you guys been working with Alcon?
Going on 3 years.
3 years. And when you say Keystone Construction, and that's based out of Doylestown?
Correct.
Okay.
Will you be building part of the facility or your company, working to build with them, or you're just consulting for them on the construction end?
We would oversee the construction as well, yes.
You're overseeing it?
Correct.
When you say oversee, do you mean just filing the permits, things like that? Right?
We may not physically be constructing the facility ourselves, but we'll be, potentially working with those that are building the facility. The different trades groups, we're not electricians, we're not HVAC contractors, so we would potentially, hire this type of trades to build a facility.
Okay, so I guess liaison then would be, a good term for what Keystone Construction would
General manager
do.
for it, you would say, maybe?
Correct. I mean,
General manager for all?
the technical term
General
for would be an
contractor.
owner's representative. We're the owner's representative for the project.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania or just in America?
Pennsylvania right now is the only facility they're looking to get operational at this point.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I think they covered quite a bit over there.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kelly Henry.
Yes, hi. I live at 2115 Yardley Morrisville Road in Morrisville, or Lower Makefield Township, I should say. I'll go with Morrisville zip code. I'm here also to speak on behalf of Elcon. I do community relations, and I read the articles that have been written about Elcon. Most of the community relations that I do is related to environmental issues, and I decided that I wanted to get engaged because this was in my backyard, and what I was seeing was a lot of misinformation. I wanted to hear it directly from the environmental consultant, and I wanted to engage and be a face because I believe we need this technology. I believe if you care about the Delaware River, if you care about the Delaware Valley, then you want to know more about this technology because it will be good for this area, not just because of jobs, although that's an important thing, but for the environment. And I wanted to make sure that they got a fair opportunity to be heard and to be accurately reflected in the media and in neighborhoods. I was seeing emails and tweets, and I wanted to stand up as a member of this community and say I think they need to be heard. So I'm here. I also have a letter from the director of the food center for the Morrisville Presbyterian Church. She wasn't able to be here by herself, but Mayor, this letter is for you. I don't know how I submit that. And she too was asking for a fair hearing to let them go through the Pennsylvania DEP process. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kurt Oldenich.
Good evening, Kerbal Tenricks, 300 Melvin Court North. There's a couple things. First one, I want to talk about Cornerstone and subsequent investigations. It was brought up in the minutes at a couple of council meetings about reimbursement by the insurance company. Is that happening? Are we getting reimbursed for it?
Could you just check and see what monitors it?
Yeah, everything's.
No? Not gonna get reimbursed? Or you would
I
hope?
don't know.
Well, you said we were.
No, we were trying to.
You said we were, you said in a council meeting, said we were gonna get reimbursed.
I said we were going to get reimbursed. Is that what you're saying, Sid?
Yeah, I'll go back again, you know, in the meetings again, but yeah, it was brought up several times. Payments for the entertainment in the park. We need to have events in the town, obviously, it helps everything. The Labor Day picnic, were costs covered, or did that come directly out of a fund that is taxpayer money that we are not getting reimbursed back into, like for the bands, rides, entertainment, things like that? Is that being covered by,
It was
Money's
a
coming in.
budget item, and it was a budget item.
right, okay, so we're raising taxes, buying a $40,000 grinder and this, but we didn't cover costs coming back in from food vendors or any kind of fundraisers that cover that expenditure. It was just a negative going out, is what that is, right?
The taxpayers don't pay for the vendors pay their own fees.
I know that, but was there anything with the vendors when they made profit to go back in to cover expenditures and costs of?
We don't have that full report yet, Kurt.
But was there money coming in that was gonna cover the outgoing
I
costs?
suppose there was some money coming in,
Suppose.
but, you know, they didn't have enough vendors to cover the entire cost, no.
That's part of how you put events together, is you cover your costs, so you don't go into debt putting things on for people. And Corinne, back in, I think it was July 20th, you mentioned that you made personal calls to Amtrak.
I never said that.
Okay, that's not how it was stated by you.
Well, it was. I said the borough
No, you said.
contacted Amtrak,
You said you did.
and there was a lady that had come to the microphone, and she asked me what Amtrak had said. I said Amtrak gave the borough a 2-week window when they would be contacting the borough.
You said you, okay.
No, I've never spoken to anybody at Amtrak.
Okay, that's what we wanted to hear, thank you. Let's see here, and there was talk about, you know, we have elections in a couple months. Is there gonna be any kind of,
I'm sorry,
we're gonna have
and
elections in a couple months. Is there gonna be any kind of actual get-together for people to ask all candidates in a debate forum to discuss issues and ongoing problems and what solutions are gonna be out there?
not that I'm aware of.
Really, okay, all right,
It's not a council issue.
that's it, thank you.
Thank
It
you.
is to a council issue.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. The debate is to a
Bill
council
Farrell?
issue. Very much a council issue, right, the council.
The computer program.
Okay, we have, Bill, you can stand or sit, wait till the computer unfreezes, sorry. It's up to you.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a brand new computer program? What are you asking me for? I just got it. I froze it. I froze it? I'm sorry. I know, there's no funny last time. Computers, it's so people, ironic how this happens, people talk and things go haywire. When people talk, things go haywire for some reason, it's the craziest thing.
Technology's great when it works.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. But if it breaks, forget it. I taught myself. I'm not. Life's too short. How about I see? God, keep saying.
I was just about to say.
No, I'm gonna make copies.
Blame it on me. You said my name, bonkers. Yeah, run it forward. Right. It's amazing.
See that? As soon as somebody says something negative, broadcast goes out to people. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to say that goes out all the time. Our new equipment, we paid $1.4 million. It's on the conference part went for 2 months, lightning hit at one time, and they say. Nancy said, you're gonna get reimbursed. She said, you're like, oh my God, you're not even funny. You were not, but she said, you're getting reimbursed. They mandate that we have the investigation, and it's done.
They could have been part of this thing. I thought they were supposed to
When
be
they live
part.
on 1 minute.
It wasn't. It wasn't. John. The system. Because they didn't get the part.
All right, Bill, try that.
Bill Farrell, 347 North Pennsylvania Avenue. First of all, I'd like to give my best to the 9 and 10-year-old girls. I've been umpiring for 40 years. It's a big commitment for not only the girls, the parents, and the coaches, because these young ladies, if they play travel, you'll find them in Virginia one week, then they'll be up in Jersey, New York, so it's a big undertaking, so I wish them the best next year and future. I have a question. When is it the best time to get a copy of what's on the meeting tonight with the motions? I have a copy that I got this afternoon, and it does say that the draft agenda is subject to change. Mine goes up to 8D and then goes to 10A. I notice on this you got 8E, 8F, and 8G. I thought these motions passed last month, or were they put on the agenda? At what time? What time should I go online to get a copy of this? Because
Those subjects you're referring to, the subjects you're referring to, last month we voted to advertise them. This month we're voting on them.
okay, but my point is, how come it's not online here as it is on here? Because mine stops at 8D. I'll give it to you and show you. It's online. This is supposed to be online where I can get a copy, because I don't want to come here and be unprepared. Any of the motions. So that's point A. Point B, yeah. You added 5 motions to the agenda after executive session.
Excuse me one second, Mr. Farrell. E, F, and G, they were the ones that were added later in the day through a conversation with our solicitor.
What
So
day?
I don't know what time you printed them out.
What day?
Today.
It was done today?
Today.
I guess I'll have to print it before I come, because I did this yesterday, or last night. Okay. One of the motions you said was about eliminating the controller positions, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, I figured you were gonna do it because I've been asking about it for 3 or 4 months. And nobody would answer it. And I guess all of a sudden you decided because election time's coming.
Changes all by itself.
Hmm?
It's showing the table.
I don't live there.
It's not a bad thing.
Oh, don't worry about the table. So that's my point. You know, why, Sue, you got something against me?
He's actually talking to Tom right now.
Oh, I think, okay. That was it. So I guess I'll wait till I come before the meeting and everything added will be there, correct? I hope so. Say yes or no.
Yes, maybe.
Don't say yes, maybe, say no.
No.
Because yes, maybe is no.
It has to be done by the day of the meeting, before the
Okay.
ladies leave the office. They
So-
might be working on it up until 4 o'clock, 4:15, 4:30.
I'll print it out at 6:30. That'd be better.
That, I think you'll be
I-
be safe.
I don't like yes, no. Yes, maybe, because that's no.
But then again, we could still add stuff after an exec session.
I'm not talking about that. But these things were supposed to be done last month, and they were supposed to be put on this thing, correct? Okay. Now you lost me. Well, I'm glad to see everybody's in a better mood tonight. The last meeting was that people were in a snit. I guess they had a bad day at the office. Who cares? There was an article on Mr. Slater talking about Act 90 and some other thing about reducing blight and rundown properties. Act 90, I guess, is a state mandate. And I love the thing that makes me enjoy it much is they said they're not having very much luck with it because there's a lot of people questioning it or filing suits against it because of what it is. But now, you're going to put in the other one then, Mr. Carmichael, you know what it is, right? It wasn't Act 90, there's another one that it's for local control?
I'm sorry, which, are you talking about one of the other ordinances that we're talking about?
The one that you were saying, it's the International Property
Property Maintenance
Maintenance
Code,
Code,
correct.
IPMC. I love it when they give you an IPMC.
Well, it's easier to say than International Property Maintenance Code.
They probably can't even say it because of the politicians. Basically, what brought this about? What brought this thing about? Blight and rundown properties. Unfortunately, in this town, there's, I guess, close to 50% rentals. And there's an old saying, if you don't own it, who cares? And that's the problem. As long as you have as many rentals as you're going to have in the town, you're going to have major problems. And the only thing you're going to have to do is you have to go after the landowner, the lease who owns the property, and get it.
Correct.
So I assume we're going to do that. One thing. There was a town meeting last month. You're not talking to me, is he? Oh.
Excuse me, Mr. Seward, can you shut the door, please? You can talk to Dustin if you like, but just shut the
Well,
door
they are,
first.
I can talk, I don't know. And Ms. Chronicle, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Twitter. I do have a computer, I have limited capacity, because I can't stand and sit in front of a dumb machine who's smarter than me. But the whole thing too was, and I know you have a disclaimer as a member of the Borough Council, which is your right, but there was something about you should ask questions, you shouldn't accept general answers and promises and all that. Well, that's good. But you've been sitting there for 2 years and you were coming here prior. How do you feel sitting up there and watch people back here come up here and ask questions and they don't get any answers?
Well, that's not what, this is for the hearing of the public, it's not for public discussion. If you have a question for me, sir, you can certainly ask me after the council meeting.
No, you told me about sending emails. And I told-
No, you can talk to me, I told you if you ever saw me in the grocery store, I know you don't email, you told me that, but
No,
after the council meeting.
I have, it's called B-mail, it's bill mail. Bill comes here and asks you. That's how I deal with it. But other than that, that's about all I'm concerned about. And like I said, people of Morrisville, you got 2 months. Give up your football game and your beer and your pizza and your hot wings and go out and vote in November. Maybe things will change. I don't know. If it doesn't, say la vie. But I'll tell you what, Morrisville hasn't been going up for years, and it's going down. And it's up to the people of Morrisville to change it. Good luck.
Thank you. Next, we have Jane Berger.
Jane Berger, 90 West Maple Avenue, here in Morrisville Borough. Again, kudos to the girls softball team. It's always nice to have them recognized. I had some things I wanted to add. The gentleman that spoke from Elcon regarding the truck traffic not coming through the borough, there's other routes. I guess anybody coming from Jersey will not be coming across the toll bridge, or they will, though really will be going out to Falls Township, I'm not sure. The question is, so what happens if these vehicles do get off the toll bridge in Morrisville by mistake and journey on to the site? Because you know South Pennsylvania leads right down to the KOIZ. I bring this up because we all know the trash trucks are not supposed to come through Morrisville, whatever. And because we're not a host community, if there's a truck on South Pennsylvania on the Morrisville side, we can't stop them, we can't give them any kind of a fine for being on the wrong road in our borough. But as soon as they would cross into Falls Township, if there was a police officer there, they could be cited in Falls Township for being on the wrong road. So I guess the question is, so what recourse does the borough have? And maybe party would look to the solicitor if there's any legislation or there's anything that would work if this thing goes through, if these trucks do mistakenly find their way into the borough. So that was the news there. You told us there were some young students in the audience tonight. I guess they are interested in the borough council, junior borough council position. So I'm hoping to make the appointment tonight. I did mention Tuesday that if you're ready tonight to do it, I didn't see the agenda item tonight that you're going to appoint the borough council person. So I guess
We're not doing it
ready
this
tonight.
evening.
You're not doing it tonight, until next month, okay. Because they support the program and the council does that. And I'm not sure how many students you have. They all seem fine. It's going to be a difficult decision for you to work. Who knows, you might want a bigger table and appoint all three. That's not pre-planned. But looking at the borough council, whoever is appointed, there's this great thing in print, I'm sure you've seen it, from that to give to the young people that are junior council persons. It's a great synopsis of the borough code. It might be useful to hand that out to all the members of council, because some have had training, some haven't, and some have had a long time ago. But basically, it's the borough council members that are responsible for the operation of all functions of borough government. And of course, in boroughs our size, we have an administrator. We don't use our borough secretary like they do in boroughs of 250 people. But since the entire council appoints an administrator to carry out the official actions of the entire council, elected officials should avoid telling him or her what to do personally, as they really don't speak for the entire council. So I thought those were some interesting comments on that might guide you on your way. There's been a lot of discussion about expenditures and whether they're authorized by council, or does council have to vote when or when not, and you know, we can kind of debate this over a cup of coffee somewhere else. But I have a feeling that perhaps only Mrs. Sherlock is aware that we do have a purchasing policy in place. Actually, it was developed for the Borough Council when you were in the manager's office, Mr. Cicero. Good policy, it's still effective. We looked at it several years ago, maybe in 2007 or so. regarding the conferences for our council members, and that was dealt with otherwise. But the important thing is that expenditures for non-budgeted items limit the borough manager to $500. Any non-budgeted item over that amount has to be approved by the council, and the council approves things by a vote at the dais. PSAB trainings still recommend that amount, and I think you understand why that's kept at a low amount. You pass a budget. You hope for the revenues to come in. You hope you've maxed out your expenditures. If you have a lot of expenditures over and above that, you could find yourself in the red at the end of the year, and I don't think you want that to happen. Congratulations, Mrs. Sherlock, for the recognition from PSAB for your work on policy and resolutions. And that brings me to a policy that the council was to put in place as a result of the litigation that the former mayor brought to the county courts. And understanding that that's one of the issues was access to documents. And I believe the resettlement from Judge Baldy required the Borough Council to put in place a policy for access to documents by elected officials. What you're entitled to ask for to do your job, and what would require going through a right to know as any member of the public. From understanding that the recommendation was to establish a personnel committee of Borough Council members to develop that policy, and unless I've missed something, I don't think to date, and it's almost 2 years, that has been done. So hopefully you will look into that, because although that mayor is not in office, I do believe that court decision is still in the books and is still in play. I think that's it, and thank you to Mr. Seward for getting us up and running again. Good evening.
Thank you. Okay, that completes the hearing of the public. So then the first order of business is approval of minutes from the regular council meeting of August 17th, 2015. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments on these minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next, we have a manager's report. Solicitor's report.
Michelle, very briefly, drafted all the ordinances subject for approval tonight, the massage establishment ordinance as well as the trash collection ordinance. Also drafted the demolition contract that's on council's agenda tonight for MRA, which is contingent upon us receiving all the grant funding that council has discussed previously. And also the motions out from executive session, I'll cap and a comment on if council has any questions when the motions are made. Thank you.
You just talk way too slow. Next, we have the engineer's report. Mr. Watson.
Good evening. The ADA Williamson bathroom renovation, we notified the county that an acceptable bid from our viewpoint was received. They asked for the bid package, the bid results, and then sent us also a 3-page contractor questionnaire, which we forwarded, got back and sent that to the county, and the county says we're good to go.
Okay. So, how good is good? When do you think this will start? After we approve this?
Once you do this, we're going to contact the contractor to get his,
Okay. So it could be very, very
a
soon.
notice to proceed letter, and then
Okay.
a quick meeting with him and tell him that he's got to have it done by the end of November when the grade's done.
Okay. Would you like to introduce someone that's with you this evening?
Certainly.
Okay.
This is Scott Stoddard from our office. He'll be the main contact for Morrisville Borough, and I will be a backup.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You sing too? Back up. Okay, mayor's report.
Okay, thank you. The annual Labor Day picnic was held earlier this month. The picnic is the longest running borough event that I'm aware of. It was very well attended. We offered quite a few free activities for the kids, such as a moon bounce, balloon animals, the reptile show, and so on. I'd like to thank everyone who worked hard on the event, especially my wife Janet. Thank you to everyone who participated in the raffle basket, which raised $516 for the emergency services, and of course those who purchased plants from Janet's plant sale, along with a donation from my family. Was enough for the MV aviators to purchase another bird sign if they choose. The car show was a huge success. Over 100 cars were registered. The proceeds for the car show of the picnic will be going to help the Wounded Warriors program. For the second year in a row, we handed out 200 free grab bags to help local businesses with some free advertising. And they were very well received. People seem to like the local business literature. This year at the picnic, we partnered with a Morrisville resident, Brute Anderson, who also brought a great sports tournament and was able to raise money for Morrisville Little Bulldogs. So thank you to Brud and to everyone who participated. And I'd like to just add that really the fundraising, that's just a side note. That's, believe me, that's not what the picnic's about. That's just, everyone's there, so we try to incorporate that. In August, I held a borough-wide contest called Mayor Dave's Bird Town Challenge. Residents who participated were asked to locate 3 bird town signs and write down the locations. And they were submitted, and the winner got a $25 gift card from the Dollar Tree. And during the picnic, we announced that the winner was a young man named Zachary, so congratulations to Zach. And of course to everyone who participated. On September 16th, the MV Aviators in the Borough of Morrisville were presented with this plaque, this particular plaque. It was presented to us for the efforts of making the community of Pennsylvania Bird Town. During the presentation, I presented the MV Aviators with an awards from the new program that I started called the Morrisville Borough Youth Excellence and Achievement Award. I also presented this evening to the young ladies who were here the same award. So anyone knows of a deserving young person under 18 or 18 or on, feel free to contact me. And lastly, just a few hours ago, I got an email from the Department of Justice saying that the Morrisville has been awarded the COPS grant, so we'll be sharing that information and working with the school district to see if we can get the MOU together. There'll be a lot more details to follow, I'm sure. Thank you.
Good news. Okay. Police Chief's report.
Good evening, Council. Last month's another successful month. Our crime rate has dipped to 37 points below where we were this time last year. The officers are doing a fantastic job. I will be deployed Saturday morning at 4 o'clock to Philadelphia. I became the commander of the bird team for Bucks County after some political nonsense that went over in Bristol Township, and their lieutenant, who was the commander, was told he was not allowed to serve anymore. So I was asked to take the team down to Philadelphia, so I'll be down there from Saturday morning at 4 a.m. till Sunday night at the conclusion when the Papal tour ends. That's about it.
How many guys you wound up with, George?
30.
You mean 30 county officers?
30 police officers are going.
From the, I'm saying they're from Bucks County, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They asked for 75, but the Bucks County Emergency Management Team did basically what Mayor Nutter did, and it scared everybody half to death. And no one from the north end wanted to participate because they thought that their town was going to be left without police protection. And it's a shame what they did. But in turn, it's going to change how the MERT team operates going into the future. After we have only 30 people going down there out of 110 officers that are on the team. I was extremely embarrassed at it, but I was not going to let the relationship between the Philadelphia Police Department and the rest of Bucks County suffer, because Philadelphia is there at a drop of a hat. anytime we need them. They responded a couple months ago when we had the barricade in Tellytown. They never sent us a bill. Anytime we need a helicopter, they respond, never send us a bill. Other towns that have had the bomb squad come out, never billed them. But everybody north of us was looking for reimbursement. That was kind of embarrassing. So we have 30 officers going, and we're gonna go down there and do a good job and represent Bucks County.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Nancy, if I could, I just have one question. It's actually on Bob's report. If I can ask you quick, Bob? Bob loves getting called.
The air conditioning on, it's getting